Once, in the ancient city of Savatthi, there lived a monk named Malunk. He was a devoted follower of the Buddha, earnestly practicing meditation and studying the teachings. However, Malunk was troubled by deep philosophical questions that gnawed at his mind, preventing him from fully committing to the path of liberation. One day, Malunk approached the Buddha with a restless heart. He said, "Venerable Sir, I have been meditating and following your teachings, but my mind is distracted by unanswered questions. I seek clarity on matters that perplex me. Please answer these questions so that I may continue my practice with peace of mind." The Buddha, with his characteristic calm and wisdom, invited Malunk to sit and share his concerns. Malunk then listed his questions. Is the universe eternal, or does it have a beginning? Is the universe finite, or is it infinite? Is the soul the same as the body, or is it separate? After death, does an enlightened being exist, not exist, both exist and not exist, or neither exist nor not exist? He continued, "If you do not answer these questions, Lord, I may abandon the training and return to a lay life, for I cannot proceed with these doubts clouding my mind." The Buddha, serene and compassionate, looked at Malunk and responded with a parable to illustrate the futility of such speculative inquiries. "Malunk," the Buddha began, "suppose a man were struck by a poisoned arrow. His friends and family, concerned for his life, quickly brought a skilled physician to his side. But imagine if the wounded man, lying there in pain, refused treatment until certain questions were answered. He demands to know, who shot the arrow? What was the name of the archer? Was he tall or short? From which village did he come? What kind of bow was used? Was the arrow made of wood or metal? What type of poison was on the arrowhead? Was it made from a plant or an animal?" The Buddha paused, letting the imagery settle in Malunk's mind, then continued, "What would happen to this man, Malunk? Before all his questions could be answered, the poison would spread through his body, and he would die. His insistence on knowing these details would not save him from suffering or death." The Buddha then explained, "In the same way, Malunk, the holy life I teach does not depend on the answers to your questions. Whether the universe is eternal or not, whether the soul is the same as the body or separate, whether an enlightened being exists after death or not, these are irrelevant to the core of my teaching. What I teach is the truth of suffering, its cause, its cessation, and the path leading to its cessation. These are the Four Noble Truths, and they are what you should focus on, for they lead to liberation from suffering." Malunk listened intently as the Buddha continued, "The questions you ask are like chasing after the wind. They are speculative and do not lead to the end of suffering. The holy life is lived here and now, in understanding and overcoming the causes of suffering, craving, ignorance, and attachment. Whatever is not connected to the goal of liberation, I leave undeclared. I have not answered your questions because they are not useful, not related to the fundamentals of the spiritual life, and do not lead to peace, wisdom, or enlightenment." The Buddha's words struck Malunk deeply. He realized that his obsession with metaphysical questions was like the man struck by the poisoned arrow, wasting precious time on matters that did not address his immediate suffering. Humbled, Malunk bowed to the Buddha and vowed to focus on the practical teachings of the Dharma, the path to liberation through mindfulness, ethical conduct, and wisdom. From that day forward, Malunk practiced with renewed dedication, letting go of his speculative doubts. In time, through diligent effort, he attained deep insight and eventually became an arahant, a fully enlightened being, free from the cycle of suffering. Context and significance. Buddha emphasized a practical approach to addressing human suffering. The story illustrates several key Buddhist principles. Focus on the present. The Buddha's teachings encourage practitioners to focus on the present moment and the practical steps they can take to alleviate suffering, rather than getting lost in abstract or unanswerable questions. The Four Noble Truths. The parable reinforces the centrality of the Four Noble Truths, suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering. These truths form the foundation of Buddhist practice. Letting go of speculation. Buddha declared certain questions irrelevant because they do not contribute to liberation. This approach encourages intellectual humility and a focus on what is essential. Urgency of practice. The poisoned arrow symbolizes the urgent reality of suffering in human life. Just as the man struck by the arrow faces imminent death, all beings face the impermanence and suffering of life, making it critical to address suffering directly through practice. Mindfulness and liberation. The story indirectly points to mindfulness and the cultivation of wisdom as the antidote to suffering. By letting go of distractions, one can fully engage in the path to enlightenment. It reminds us to prioritize what is practical and within our control rather than becoming entangled in questions that may never be resolved. In modern life, this teaching can apply to letting go of obsessive worries about the future, unanswerable existential questions, or distractions that prevent us from living fully in the present.